Hi guys, this is Gorgon the Wonder Cow with theScore eSports, and I'm here joined by compLexity's coach, Nahaz. So, Nahaz, obviously you guys are coming out of the wild cards a little raw. How is the team taking it? How are you taking it?
You just got eliminated from a $19 or $20 million tournament now. It's a pretty tough thing. Obviously, the result is not what we expected.
Yeah, so in terms of your capacity as a coach when the team gets knocked out that early, how do you address the team and how do you interact with the team at that moment of a low?
I don't think that there's a recipe for that. The coaching role is still very, very new in Dota 2 and in esports in general. When you think about as recently as the Shanghai Major, only a handful of teams came in with coaches, and now it's kind of the acknowledged practice. As far as what you do when you lose TI, it's just different from losing in any other tournament, because any other tournament, you know, the team has plans beyond that. You kind of know the next few lands you're going to be playing at, perhaps, and you talk about, all right, here's what we're going to address. At TI, the whole year revolves around this event. There's no exit strategy.
Yeah. So, how long were you staying and coaching with compLexity, and what were you doing in anticipation of the event?
So I stayed at their team house down in Florida for about 10 days. We did obviously did a bunch of scrims, did a bunch of team-specific prep. Really were progressing very nicely, I thought. But at the end of the day, you can replicate a lot of things in practice, but you can't replicate the pressure of playing for $20 million. And we had 3 players who are immensely talented, but this is their first TI. And you're going to see that. You know, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh didn't win a championship playing together their first year in Miami. There's a learning and growing process in playing at a tournament of this caliber.
So for you personally, obviously this is your first time doing a coach as a new role for not just you but the scene. Do you feel like you learned more? Is this something that you'd like to do more in the future? How has it impacted your view of the game?
I'd certainly be open to it. This was really one of the last frontiers for me. I've done a lot of analytical work now in Dota, and people know me more from the quantitative side, but this was the first time that I've been really a part of and close to a high-level team. I've never played Dota at that level, and although I'd had relationships with individual players before now, I had never really been in scrims and interacted with the team. And interestingly enough, most of the work that I ended up doing with them was not quantitative. We did not actually look at very many stats. It was much more about team dynamics and communication, but I think that speaks more to the needs of the specific team. Because the coaching role in Dota is still relatively new, coaching is going to be very different across different teams. And I had this conversation with Mad at Manila, and he was very adamant that, look, he didn't come in with any role that he was specifically looking to fill with OG. He came in and said, look, how can I help you guys? What do you guys want help with? And I tried to take that same role with compLexity. Call was a team that had done very well in the past. They were top 6 at Shanghai, top 3 at Epicenter, but had obviously had some problems going into Manila. And so the first order of business was to address those problems. And I thought we were making very concrete progress in doing that. But again, I think the pressure may have gotten to us.
So you spent a fair deal amount of time away from home already, and a lot of people know that you teach economics and that you have a family. How has your work in Dota impacted your professional and personal life outside of Dota?
Well, it's very difficult. I joke all the time that I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, which is once a great and kind of a scary feeling, because I'm going to turn 40 next year. Obviously, being away from my family is very hard. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter that I love very much, and my wife is a very patient woman. She wouldn't be married to me otherwise. So they are very supportive of this. But I really still am figuring out what I want to do in the esports sphere. I've had a lot of fun being on-camera talent. I've had a lot of fun making videos and writing a few articles here and there. And this was a tremendous experience. And the thing is, esports, there's a lot of opportunity out there right now. There's a lot of different things that you can do. At the same time, I still like being a professor. I still get goosebumps every time I stand up in front of a class for the first time, the first day of a new semester. So I have some soul searching to do, and I still love Dota a great deal, but we have to go back home and figure out what's right for me and my family.
When you leave your young daughter, does she understand like where you're going and what you're doing, or is it still kind of in that stage where daddy's got to go to work and you just kind of disappear for a while?
Yeah, not yet. She's still at that point that she knows, she wants to know what kind of airplane I rode on, right? That's the big thing. She wants to know if I'm bringing home any of the little plushies. She loves those. She loves Axe. The first thing I gave her of Dota was I gave her like a Crystal Maiden and an Axe plushie, and she takes the Crystal Maiden and throws it across the room and takes the Axe and hugs it. I'm like, that's my girl. But she's still she doesn't really know what I'm doing, and so it's pretty hard for her at this point. As she gets older, I think if I do choose to continue to do this, she and my wife would probably attend some of these events, which I'm obviously looking forward to. But again, it's a matter of sitting down and talking about what makes sense for us.
So a lot of talent that I speak to kind of look forward at Dota as it evolves, but also other esports as they're evolving. Now you've been stepping into a lot of on-camera roles, but also into coaching and stuff. Have you considered that if you do start to transition more into a certain role in esports, maybe doing something outside of Dota as well? Or is Dota really just the game on your mind?
Dota will always be my first love, but I tell people I don't mind saying on camera that if you are going to make a career out of esports, you have to have, I think, at least plans to do things in more than one game. You have to lay that foundation, I think, very early on. And so I have thought about some analytical products in other spheres, and if I do choose to devote more of my time to esports in the next couple of years, I probably will step at least lightly into other games. But right now, Dota is still very strong. I still believe, despite some of the dips that we've seen in online viewership for some events, I still believe that there's a lot of potential for growth in terms of expanding our user base, and in terms of, I think we can sell pro Dota. If you look at the product that's on display out there right now, I think we can sell that to people who are not hardcore Dota fans, and even to some people who never boot up the game. So I do think there's a lot of potential left, and provided I do stay in esports, I will still continue devoting the vast majority of my time to Dota, at least in the short term.